Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video, I'm just going to be sharing with you my top 10 picks for Thanksgiving Day fragrances. So these are what I would rock in my wardrobe for that occasion. They're going to be fresh and sweet, and also sort of cozy and classy. Fresh and sweet, cozy, classy, and generally inoffensive. We're going to be in close quarters with people that might not be frag heads. So these are going to be leaning a little bit more towards the mass appealing side of sweet, but still more inoffensive, kind of office style sweet. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into the list, starting off, and this is going to be ranked, and my number 10 spot is going to Dolce & Gabbana's the one Eau de Toilette. So this one you can usually find in the $40 to $50 range, especially if you get a tester, which I got mine with a cap. So really nice amber, tobacco, ginger is the scent profile here. The Eau de Toilette wears a lot lighter and more fresh, and with the ginger popping a little bit more than the tobacco in the more dense concentrations of this fragrance. And so I think this is going to be a great pick for Thanksgiving Day. Really, like I said, inoffensive, fresh and sweet, and a little classy as well. Basically a date night fragrance scent profile, but something that you can get away with during the day and throughout the course of the evening on Thanksgiving with your family. So that's the number 10 spot. Number 9 spot is going to a coffee fragrance, which I think is an important aspect of your wardrobe, especially in the autumn time. You've got the pumpkin spice craze, and coffee is just a generally universally adored scent profile, both because people are coffee drinkers and because it offers such a nice balanced style sweetness, much like cinnamon, that differs from sugar and bubblegum sweetness. So my pick for a coffee fragrance is Robert Graham's Valor. So this is discontinued, I believe. I don't think you can find it on the official Robert Graham website any longer, but Fragrance Net has still had these in stock for under $100, and I think there's a few eBay sellers and places on Mercari where you can get it for right around under $100 as well. So this is definitely one to check out. Sage, amber, and coffee are the main notes, and the sage brings a certain green touch that makes this grown up and masculine and classy, while the amber and coffee offer that cozy, sort of warm, sweet, inoffensive, mass appealing, and something somebody sitting next to you is going to be able to enjoy just as much as you. So that's Robert Graham's Valor for the number 9 spot. Number 8 spot going to L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Toilette. This is basically a soft, powdery cacao, rather unsweet, almost baker's chocolate style cacao, but then there's also some lemon in here that commingles with some soft sandalwoods, some cedar. This is subtly sweet, but it's not sugary, bubblegum, or syrupy. And it just reminds me of the wood chip shavings or sawdust. It's basically like sawdust, the way that the cacao comes off in here alongside of some cedar and sandalwood, with a beautiful lemon tinge to it, a tartness from the lemon. It's a bit like a very dry lemon chocolate pastry, but there's that woodiness of the sawdust as well. Comes together to become an incredibly elegant yet inoffensive, fresh, sweet, and classy fragrance from Guerlain. And you can usually find these ones that are going to be in the newer square bottles in right around the $100 range, maybe a little bit less than that. And I hear that the modern formulations are at least as good as this Listerine style bottle. So number 8 spot, L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Toilette. Next we have one from Chanel. This is a recent addition to the collection, but it is something that I have been enjoying quite a bit. And although I don't think this is going to be my fragrance of the day this Thanksgiving, it's easily going to be a contender in years to come, and this is the original Egoiste from Chanel with the black cap here. There is the Platinum Egoiste Flanker, which is a really nice office-style barbershop fragrance, whereas this one has a really interestingly cold facet. I think there's maybe some rose, geranium qualities that are offering up that coolness, and then a very nice soft sandalwood offering up some creamy, powdery aspects. Some clove makes it a little bit peppery. This has that subtle sweetness, not quite sugary, bubblegum sweet, or syrupy like the rest of the fragrances that we've mentioned so far, but this is just a very nice, soft, spicy fragrance. It almost has a certain quality to it that reminds me of like snow that would be falling in a setting like Candyland or some fantasy genre in Disney where the snow is made out of sugar in some sense. The soft, cold, powdery, almost slight sweet quality that this fragrance has reminds me of that, just like a Fantasyland snow made out of sugar. And while that sounds a little bit more winter-esque, I think the clove and the way that the cinnamon, or the spices in general in here are done, makes it lean a little bit more into a Thanksgiving style scent, because it's really built more for like the office, and it's not quite as gourmand or spicy or decadent as the Christmas time season, I think, is, as this is great for Thanksgiving. So this is going to be my number 7 spot, Chanel's Egoiste. Okay, the number 6 spot is going to the house of Dior. This is Dior Homme Original. So this is a soapy iris enveloped in a nice sort of powdery cacao, much like the L'Instant de Guerlain, but this is with the iris, and it just has this super gentlemanly, soft, fresh, easy to wear, clean yet sweet vibe to it. Masterpiece of a fragrance. It is, and has spawned a definitive trend with iris and men's fragrances for the years to come. This is basically where it all started, and for good reason. This is definitely worth hunting down. I think it's kind of hard to come by, but when they do show up at discounters like Joma Shop and FragranceBuy.ca, they're right around the $100 range. However, if you can't find this beauty, this is a great alternative for like $10. This is Dream Big from Benetton, and this, while synthetic up close, smells pretty similar in the air to this. And honestly, I've gotten compliments on this while wearing this, and I've yet to receive a compliment on this or anything in the original Dior Homme line. I get lots of compliments on Dior Homme 2020, however. But yeah, this is going to be a great alternative to Dior Homme, and a great pick for Thanksgiving Day as well. Really nice, soft, kind of soapy, clean, fresh, sweet, powdery fragrances. Okay, so that is the number 6 spot. We're moving into the top 5, I believe. So the number 5 spot is going to YSL's Tuxedo. Very, again, fresh, clean, inoffensive, sweet, classy fragrance. Hits on all the right notes. Wears very light for being a patchouli-centric fragrance. Patchouli spice and rose with some sweetened ambery qualities to it. Definitely articulates the idea of tuxedo very well. This would be great, I think, also for Christmas, but because it is a little bit lighter wearing than some more really thick, dense, spicy, gourmand style fragrances that might be more apt for Christmas time, I think this is perfect for the autumn and Thanksgiving Day. This is going to be perfectly well suited for the occasion. It's going to be well received, I believe, by most people. It's popular for a reason. It's easy to wear. It is, again, combines fresh and sweet, which is a winning combination, and then it just has a nice inoffensive quality to it. It sits close to the skin, doesn't have a loud projection per se, and it's just going to be perfect for the occasion. And while that fragrance is rather expensive, you can pick up Moustache Eau de Parfum from Rochas. It comes incredibly close, very difficult to find much of a difference. There is a little bit, but it's really nitpicky and nuanced. This one's a little bit sweeter, a little bit less rich, and has a little bit less depth to it. So this is a little bit brighter, maybe even better suited for Thanksgiving because of that reason. It's a little bit more safe, I would say. And you can find these at about 125 mLs for around the $40 to $50 mark. So this is going to be another one that is already well hyped and recognized in the community, but if you're not familiar with this fragrance, it's definitely one worth checking out, especially for Thanksgiving. So that is the top number 5 spot, and then we're moving into the number 4 spot. Now this probably is a little bit higher in the list because barbershop is my favorite genre of fragrance archetype, and if you're not familiar with that, it's just generally built around lavender and tonka. Sometimes those two notes aren't included and the scent profile still matches the idea of walking into a barber shop where you have the scissors sitting in the blue juice and the barber saw and it smells fresh and clean, and a little bit like shaving foam. There's a slight creaminess to it generally, and this one is in that genre, and I think the best for Thanksgiving Day that I've tried yet. Anyways, this is going to be Egypt from 8 & Bob, and this really smells a little bit like if you were to take this fragrance and evolve it into a barbershop by adding lavender and tonka to it. So you do get that caramelized style sweetness, almost like a tobacco and ginger like you had with the Dolce & Gabbana, the one, but it's just, this particular fragrance reminds me a lot of if you were to mix shaving foam with Cool Whip and then maybe like brown it a little bit on the top the way you would a creme brulee. That's what I really get out of this fragrance, and it opens up incredibly fresh and zesty. There's a beautiful citrus and lemon that brings this one in the opening, and it is just a stunning composition, super gentlemanly, long-lasting, inoffensive, a little bit linear. I mean, there's that beautiful opening, but the rest of it kind of develops into just a safe, clean, easy-to-wear, office-friendly, sweet fragrance. And this one is something that, again, you know, I don't think it's going to be my scent of Thanksgiving Day this year, but definitely in years to come. 8 & Bob's Egypt, the number 3 spot. Or sorry, that's the number 4 spot. So we have 3 more to go. In the number 3 spot, we have Xerjoff's Naxos. So generally, most of the Xerjoffs I've tried so far, they have this doughy textural feel to them that I don't really care for. This one, however, is saved by this incredibly beautiful green aromatic lavender that dominates the scent profile. And the lavender in here is just so well done and high quality that it just makes it for a perfect sort of a fragrance for a day like Thanksgiving, where this is super mass appealing, easy to wear. This is probably the loudest fragrance in the list and the most the most far away from being inoffensive. So it does have a little bit of like a presence to it, a little bit of a statement making quality to it, but I think the scent profile is mass appealing enough and sweet enough and equally balanced out by the aromatic side of this that this is a great one to wear for a special occasion like Thanksgiving around family. And it is a little bit basic in terms of its overall scent profile. It's just like a sweet and fresh fragrance, but it is done and executed incredibly well, and I think this is well deserving of being so high up in the list. And I think if these go on sale, especially we've got Black Friday coming up, I've found this one for $160. So I think anything around, you know, like $180 or less is a fine price for this one. But if you can get it for $150, that I think is the golden mean for scoring one of these bottles. If you can get like a tester or something like that. So Xerjoff's Naxos, the number 3 spot. And as far as alternatives for a Naxos, I know Insurrection 2 Pure Wild, I think. I do have that fragrance. However, this is my preferred Naxos clone, and then there is a Paris Corner one, I do believe, like Vaux something. Haven't tried that. I'm sure that's probably the best, just because the Middle Eastern clones have been doing incredibly well. But from the same people that did T-Rose, the Perfumer's Workshop, there is Samba Skin, and this is kind of, I think they were cloning Pure Havane before Naxos showed up. I think this one's been around for a long time. Could be mistaken, but this is a lot more ambery and dense and rich than the Insurrection 2 Wild, which I get a little bit more of like a dusty, fruity, fresh quality. This one leans a little bit more into the darker aspects of the fragrance. Still has that honey and lavender combo, but the lavender is nowhere near as pronounced and elegant and classy and upscale as a Naxos, but this is also a really great pick for Thanksgiving Day and the entire autumn season, and you can find this one at Fragrance Net for like $12. So put this one on your shopping cart if you need the free shipping, or just get it on your radar because this is a real hidden gem, cheapy Naxos alternative. Okay, now the top 2. Let me fix my mic real quick. Alright, so we have the top two. The number 2 spot is going to Creed's Royal Oud. Perhaps no surprise to those who watch this channel. They know how much I enjoy this fragrance. It's a powdery green cedar sandalwood sparkly lemon is sort of the note breakdown. You could say it does have this foggy, misty mountaintop vibe to it in terms of its wearing experience because of the powdery green misty quality that it runs through the mid, and then it has a great opening mid dry down transition and a great evolution of a fragrance. Really classy, elegant, fresh and sweet, but inoffensive at the same time. A little bit pricey, however. Yet there is a great alternative that I recently picked up. This is Ministry of Oud's Oud Royal, and while the longevity is incredibly neutered, the 3 hours that you're going to be able to get out of this I think is going to be great for assembling for Thanksgiving Day. Or you could just keep this with you and reapply it, as this is pretty cheap. You can get it for like $30. I've got it on skin right here. And it does a really good job of capturing the general scent profile of Royal Oud. There's obviously a big difference in quality, but this is very pleasant nonetheless, and $30 or so well spent, and I think a great one for Thanksgiving Day as well. So the number 2 spot is going to the Royal Oud DNA. And then my number 1 spot is what I will be wearing this year for Thanksgiving 2023, and this is Bel Ami Vetiver from Hermes. This is basically licorice nut butter is the best way to describe it. You know, it just has a very buttery consistency from some leather in here, like an almost waxy consistency from the Vetiver addition to this. An elemi resin that really brings to the foreground that sort of licoricey anise style sweetness. And then there's a general dusty overtone to it. And the sort of dusty overtone and the leathery qualities in here paint a picture for me of like a sunbeam in the attic pouring through, and there's like a catcher's mitt made out of leather off to the side, and there's little motes of dust floating in the air, and there's like a sense of sweet nostalgia going on, as if you were revisiting that place through a memory in your childhood. All of that is going on with this fragrance. I think it's a stunning masterpiece. Difficult to find, if at all, at the discounters. I've seen the regular Bel Ami at discounters for like $100. Something I'm interested in trying out. This one I got directly from Hermes' website. It runs about Tom Ford prices, $167 at full retail. So, and it's difficult to sample this one, I think. You might be able to find some decants out there of it, but yeah, this is definitely one worth getting your nose on and a perfect pick for Thanksgiving Day in my opinion. So that's my number 1 spot for Thanksgiving 2023, Bel Ami Vetiver. Let me know what you're going to be wearing this Thanksgiving, and as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.